Hello everyone. Today we'll start with chapter number 1, unit 1. It consists of reproduction in living organism. In this unit 1, there are 4 chapters regarding the reproduction. First chapter is regarding with a living organism. All the types of water reproduction in this chapter we will learn it. Number 2, it is regarding the reproduction in the flowering plants. Number 3, human reproduction, and number 4 is reproductive health. So today we'll start with the first, that is a general topic of reproduction, chapter number 1, reproduction in organism. In this chapter, there are mainly 3 main topics which we will see here one by one. Number 1, it is regarding the lifespan, definition of lifespan, and we will see some of organism regarding their lifespan in years, in days and in months. Number 2, types of reproduction. It consists of a 2 session, that is asexual and sexual. So today we'll start with the first introduction part of the chapter, that is of water reproduction in the organism. First topic is lifespan. So here I have written the definition of lifespan according to the NCERT textbook. Lifespan means the period from birth to the natural death of an organism is known as lifespan. It means the period between from the birth till death of an organism, that particular period is known as of a lifespan. During the lifespan, what are the different phases which that means all individual organisms are passing through? So there are, number 1, regarding the birth, that is a starting point of what a lifespan with a birth. Number 2, that is of what a juvenile phase. Juvenile phase, that means it's a growth phase of an individual. Number 3, a reproductive phase, again which is very important and which is a main topic of this unit, that is of what a reproduction. Number 4, after the reproductive phase, the living organism, it start degenerating, that is nothing but term as a aging or senescence. Senescence, the word is given as a biological term which deal with aging of a living organism. Last, that is nothing but death. Now death is a last stage of what a lifespan of every individual living organism. Why it is important to maintain the population on this earth, that is global. So we will see the first importance of what reproduction. Reproduction means, as you have seen or as you have learned in the previous classes, reproduction means it is a process of the formation of new species, right? Reproductive phase, that means a formation of a new species of its own kind, right? Now how its own kind, it will be there in chapter number 5 and 6. In this session only, that is standard 12, we will learn about the inheritance and the variation which occur in the living organism, which is helpful for the reproduction in the living organism. So reproductive phase is nothing but a formation of a new species of its own kind. Why it importance is to maintain its species on this earth. That is very important. So to maintain the same kind of species, to maintain the same kind of species on this earth. So due to this phase, reproductive phase is important in a life phase. So there are total 5 main parts of a lifespan. That means from the birth till the death of a living organism, there are some procedure by which every living organism is passed on. Now here there are some list. Here we will see what are the main lifespans of a living organisms, right? So living organism is not totally immortal. They have to be death at a certain period of time, right? So here we will see the shortest lifespan is of what? A Mayflower. I request you to just note down this, because some of few example it is not given in the textbook. It may help you for your entrance exams. So Mayflower, which is the shortest lifespan, it consists of 24 hours. That means this particular insect, it is of what? Only 1 day. So in a 1 day, in a 24 hours, he has to be spent this all 5 different phases of its lifespan. In 24 hours, he has to be grow fast. In this 24 hours, he has to be reproduced. In the 24 hours, again aging degenerative phase will be there, and within 24 hours, that will be occur. So the main shortest lifespan of an insect, his name is Mayflower, which is consist of 24 hours. After that, we will see the longest lifespan. Longest lifespan number 1, it is of water. Tortoise is having 100 to 150 years when we talk about the animal. But when we talk about the plant, you can see here banyan tree consists of 200 years, right? I repeat again, the longest is of what? Tortoise. When we talk about the animal is 100 to 150, and when we talk about the plant level, right, banyan tree is about 200 years, right? Rest of the example I will tell you. Elephant, you just note down it. Elephant 60 to 90 years. Rose 5 to 7 years when we talk about the rose plant, right? So that is regarding of what? 5 to 7 years. Dog 20 to 50 years. Butterfly 1 to 2 weeks, right? Crow 15 years. Right, banana tree 25 years, cow 20 to 25 years, parrot 140 years. Now you can see the difference between the two birds, crow and the parrot. Morphologically both are similar of what kind, right? They come under the same phylum, that is of water apes, but right, they have the differ in the color, but almost the shape and morphology of both the birds are same. But you can see the difference of what? A lifespan. Crow is only of 15 years, and the parrot, it was of what? 140 years. So it is not like that, having a same structure, having a same kind, all the lifespan having the same kind of what? Life, or different living organism having a different lifespan. So that is totally depend on the process of the whole lifespan. Then we will see the crocodile 60 years, horse 60 years, fruit fly only 30 days, or it can be written as 1 month. So here we can see the difference of a lifespan. It may be note in the days, it may be note in the hours, it may be note in the hour and years, right? Starting from the very starting, we have started with the hours, that is a days, week, month and the year. So different living organism having a different lifespan. I will carry on. Rice plant 3 to 4 months, right? When we talk about the plants, I told you banyan tree, it consists of 200 years. Similarly, the two trees, for example mango tree and the pipal tree, both morphologically features having the same kind, but again there is a difference in the lifespan. Mango tree will not grow, they have the not longer lifespan that compared to that of what pipal, right? So similarly, individual living organism having a different lifespan. When we talk about the human beings, right, human beings having approximately, when we talk about the humans, right, it is approximately 100 years. Nowadays 100 years is not there, but actually average we can say as 100 years, right? So human being may have 60 to 100 years. It depends on the stress, depend on the condition of what life which they are living. So again, these all are the different types of what lifespan. In the next session, we will see the importance of what types of the reproduction, what are two different types of the reproduction, their definition and with their examples. So it is very interesting and the word is given as a intriguing. That means you should know, have a curiosity to know about the different lifespans of different organism which are surrounding us. Why it is so? Because life is a living organism, is a immortal. That means every living organism will be tend to the death to maintain the species on this earth. Only except when we see asexual reproduction, one single cell organism. When we talk about the asexual reproduction, I will explain you, except one single living organism, all living organism has to be die once. So this is what about the introduction of this chapter, reproduction in the living organism. In next session, we will start with the types of living organism. After knowing the definition of lifespan and some few examples of the living organism, their lifespan examples, we will start with the next topic of the chapter, that is of water reproduction. Before going to the types of a reproduction, we will see a note of what reproduction. It may ask as a short note question, 2-mark question of what is reproduction and what are the types. So here we will see a proper definition, what is reproduction. So reproduction, it is a biological process. The word biological process, biological, that means it's a living process which is one of a type of a fundamental life process which occur in each and every living cell. So it's a biological process in which an organism give rise to the young one. That is again it can be say as offsprings of a similar to itself, right? Why it is so? Because just for example, elephant give birth to the elephant only, the dog give birth to the puppy, the cat give birth to the kitten, the goat give to the kid, human beings again give birth to the human baby. So this is again one type of what inheritance character which pass through the generation to generation, with that we will see in details in chapter number 5. So again, offsprings of a similar itself, this offspring it will be start growing, that is it will be grow, mature and again it will be turned to produce a new offspring. So this enables the continuity of a spring of the species from generation to generation. So as we have seen the different process of a lifespan, after the birth there is a growth phase, that is also known as what a juvenile phase. After the juvenile phase there will be a reproductive phase in which again the new living organism will be produced from the pre-existing species. Why it is so? To maintain its own kind on this global earth. Each living organism has its own mechanism, it's multiply and produce the offspring. Why it is so? Because there are some factors on which the reproduction are based. So number one, the organisms depend on their habitat. Habitat means where they are living, either it is live on the land or the water. So depend on the living organism habitat, their internal physiology. Again we know the animal kingdom, plant kingdom, all the classification are done according to the level of their organisms. Some of organisms are made up of only of a cell, some are of a tissue level, some of a organ and some of a organ system. So according to the development of the body, according to the level of a development of the living organism, reproduction take place in the different and various kinds. So according to their internal physiology, some of several other factors which are collectively responsible for how it reproduces. So according to the number of an organism involvement, so we will see the next point, which is again a main point of what organism, which is based on the whether there is a participation of one organism or two. So according to the basis of number of a living organism involved in the production of a new offspring, the reproduction is of a two type, asexual and sexual. So this sentence is very important, based on the living organism, right, based on the how many organism are getting participate for the production of a new offspring, one or two. So based on it, it is divided into the two type. Number one, it is of what, asexual reproduction, and number second in of what, sexual reproduction. So here we will see a detailed structure or detailed types of asexual and sexual in the next. Please write down this note. First type of reproduction we will see is of what, asexual reproduction. Here we will look out of some definition, some points, some character regarding that of what, asexual reproduction. Only one organism is participate. Previously what we have seen, that according to the number of organism which take part in the reproduction, so depend on that there are the two types. So here in the asexual, only the one living organism is in participate, and that is nothing but a one parent. Here the one parent is there, that means there is a no use of what, gametes. So if there is a no use of the gamete, there is no chance for what, a fusion of a gametes. So here no fusion of a gamete will be there, and only by the mitotic division. You have to remember, student, the only mitotic type of a cell division is required in this asexual reproduction. In those living organism which is having a very simple type of a single cell type of a living organism is there, so it undergo a asexual living organism, only the mitotic type of division it will be there. After the formation of a offspring, that is nothing but after the cell division, mitotically a single parent will start producing its own offspring, that is having a nothing but said to be a clone formation. Clone formation, that means in a mitosis, if you remember standard 11 chapter number 10, we have seen the type of a cell division mitosis. According to the definition of the mitosis, the cell divides into the two, which having a same type of what, identical cell of that of what, mother genetically. So here also we will see having a same type of what, that is a clone formation, having a same type of genetically and morphologically, that means external features of this offspring is also same that of what, a mother cell. So both are having a same identical type of what, offspring which is produced from a one single cell. So that is what about the introduction part, definition part of what asexual with a character. Number one, one parent, that is a one organism take part in it, no fusion of a gametes, right, clone formation, mitotic division, and through the mitotic division there will be the having a same type of genetically, morphologically, and having a same type of water genetically. So having a same type of what, identical. So here the offsprings are for having a same type of what, of a single cell organism. So here we can see importance of here. So one from the one cell, it will be divided into the two same type of what, identical cells from the one single parent. That means this parent is become what, immortal. I repeat again, only the single cell is immortal. How we will see with an example. After studying the types of asexual reproduction, I will tell you this sentence, that is a single cell is always an immortal. How it is we will see. So number one, types of asexual. So there are the 5 main types of asexual reproduction. We'll learn one by one. Number 1, which is nothing but a type of what? A fission. Again fission, it is of a 2 type, binary and multiple fission. Binary fission, the word binary means bi, so there is a formation of a 2 offspring from a 1 single parent. So organism division by the binary, that is nothing but a 2 living organism will be produced from the single cell and is considered as a immortal. What I was telling about, this single cell division is always and always immortal. That means single cell हमेशा अमर पट्टा लेके आया है, वो कभी मरेगा नहीं. कैसे? We will see. So for example, when we see about the binary fission, this is an example which is display on a board. It is of what? Amoeba, right? So after the maturation phase, after the growth, it become what? A parent cell. It will be divided into the 2 identical same type of water from the mother cell. So again, this identical new offspring, it will be grow and it will be mature, and again it will be divided into the 2 offspring. So here you can see this particular identity of an individual amoeba is lost. So you can see here, for example, A mother cell is there. After the A, there is a production of what? A B and C. So this A will be converted into the new offspring. That means it is not die, it is totally changed into the new offspring. That's why the word is given as a immortal. Accidentally, yes, for example, during their reproduction life, during the lifespan, if this particular single cell is crushed एक्सीडेंटली अगर सपोज वो अमीबा रप्चर हो जाता है बाय एनी एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर, देन एंड ओनली देन दे विल डाई, अदरवाइज दे विल टोटली कन्वर्टेड इनटू द न्यू ऑफस्प्रिंग. सो दैट्स व्हाई इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, इमोर्टल फॉर द ओनली सिंगल cell. Next type is of what? Multiple cell. Multiple, that means the organism will be produced in a large number, more than 2 types, that is considered as what? A multiple. So organism are produced in the many numbers. Example is of what? A plasmodium. So we can see as in the plasmodium malaria parasite, we have already studied in chapter number 8, right, in disease, human disease, that of what? A malaria parasite plasmodium. It will be divided mitotically in a large number. How it is, we will see here. So again there is a formation of what? A cyst. Again this process is also known as what? Encystization. Encystization, that means there is a formation of a cyst. That is, a cyst is nothing but a cavity in which, number first step, this nucleus, it will be divided into the small nuclei. After the formation of a multiple nuclei, the cytoplasm, it will be surrounded to the individual this nuclei, multiple nuclei. After getting the favorable condition, this cyst will be get ruptured and the formation of a small new cells which is produced from the single mother cell. It will be again released into the atmosphere, and again this will be individual, it will be start reproducing multiple. So that's why this is a type of what? Multiple fission, in which from the single cell mother we can get a multiple offsprings. So this is a type of first, that is of a fission, having a 2 type, binary and the multiple. We will see the second type of what? Asexual reproduction, that is known as what? Spore formation. Now the spore, the word spore is again used as a reproductive part of that particular body which is helpful for what? A formation of a new plant body, right? Actually it is not a well developed reproductive part but seems to be, right? For example, जैसे plant में हम लोग buds की बात करते हैं, having a meristematic cells in that which is helpful for the formation of a new plant. Similarly, there are the some factors which is helpful for the formation of a new living organism. So that is of what? A spore. Now the spore, it is of a 2 type according to the presence and absence of what? Motility in that particular structure. So spore formation, it is of a 2 type. Number 1, zoospore, and number second is of water conidia. Number one is of water zoospore. Zoospore is having a motile spores. Why it is so? Because you can see in the structure of the zoospore they are having a flagella on their body. So due to the flagella they can move, they can shift from the one place to the another, and after getting the favorable condition it will be helpful for the development of a new living organism. So zoospore example you can see on the board, that is of water chlamydomonas, right. So this chlamydomonas is again a unicellular single cell organism having a spores on it, by which getting the favorable condition they can shift by the air current, by the water, they can again helpful for the formation of a new living organism. Number second, conidia. The word conidia, it means a chain like structure. So conidia, that means it is having a chain like structure, right. So this conidia example, they don't have any kind of flagella, they don't have a motile structure, so which they can move or they can shift from the one place to the another, but they are having a chain like structure. So example, with the example I will tell you, for example penicillin, so which is having a non-motile spores, right, they don't have a spores in it. When we draw structures of the penicillin, right, when we see a structure of a penicillin, the penicillin, it's again having a chain like structure, having a spores on it, right, they don't have a motile structure, they don't have a flagella on their structure. After the, due to the air current or the water current, and after the maturation they will fall off on the ground, and with the help of this immotile spore there will be the formation of a new organism. So according to the helpful or with the help of water spore structure, it is of a two type, that is of water zoospores, that means a motile spores, and the conidia, which is having a chain, you can see on the top of their body, having a chain like structure, which is considered as a spores, but they don't have a flagella. So penicillin is a best example for immotile structure. So this is what about the two type of asexual fission, spore formation. We will see the next number third type of water, asexual reproduction. Next part, next type of asexual reproduction is known as budding. So here budding is again of a two type, as what we have seen in the fission, it is of a two type, binary and the multiple. Similarly, budding is of a two type, that is exogenous and endogenous. Now before going to the process, we will see the what do you mean by word a bud. Bud is nothing but a tiny part of a body which is grow outside the body, which is helpful for the formation of a new part or new whole body of a living organism asexually. So here we'll see the first part of a budding, that is of water exogenous. So exogenous part of a budding is nothing but a outgrowth of tiny part of water body which lies outer surface of a body. Example we can see of water yeast. Now the yeast, on the outer surface of the yeast there is a small tiny part of a body. Now during meanwhile it will be start developing into the new one, and further again it will be divided into the tiny part. Again from that tiny part a new offspring will be developed. So from the one body a tiny part, that is bud, which lies on the outer surface, the whole new part of a body will be developed. That is other type of water endogenous. Next type that is of water exogenous. Next type that is of water endogenous. The word endo means inside the body. The best example to understood of this budding endogenous will take straight away, that is of water spongella, right. So for example spongella, now in the structure of a spongella is a type of fresh water sponge. Inside that part of a sponge there are the small tiny part of a body which is known as what? Bud. Now after the development, after the growth of this sponge, this small buds, now it will be released from the outer surface of water, single mouth of that sponge, which is known as water gemule, right? So this structure is not given detail in textbook, so please note it. So the structure inside the sponge having a small tiny part of a body which is known as what? Gemmules. Gemmules will be released from the outer part of a mouth of a spongula which is known as osculum. If you remember the internal structure of what a sponge in chapter number 3 standard 11. So here the gemmule will be start developing. Now you just concentrate here on the figure. This single gemmule, it will be start dividing into the many cells. Now this many cells, you can see the many cells, it will be covered by the two layer, outer layer and the inner layer. So between these two layers, outer and the inner, there will be the formation of water cavity, a small type of water cavity which is seen in the sponges, which is seen in the spongula. So this group of a cell, after the division of a one single gemmule, now it is known as archaeocytes. After the formation of the archaeocytes, there is a single mouth, as I told you, that is of what osculum, which we can see in the adult spongula. Now it is said to be the micropyle. After the formation of this micropyle, after the formation of the two layers, outer and the inner, you can see the outer and the inner, again the archaeocytes are there. There is a formation of a small spicule which act as an exoskeletal of what a spongula, which is responsible for their protection. So in this way, from the single gemmule, it will be divide the whole body. It will be work as a cellular level of organisms from the single bud, right, whole new part of organism, it will be developed, which is known as endogenous type of budding. So you just note down, which is not given in the textbook. Textbook में ये labelings नहीं दी हुई है, you just write it there, right? So these are nothing but a lines which is known as what? Spicule, which is act as a exoskeletal part of sponges, and the group of a cell which lies inside. After that, it will be converted into the collar cells. As you remember, collar cell is a structural and the function unit of the spongula which do everything in that particular part. So before that, they will convert it as a water archaeocyte. So this single part of what a whole well developed spongule, it will be developed from the one single gemmule. So endogenous, so it's a bud is formed inside, example that is of what a spongula. So this is what a type of what budding, it is of a two type, exogenous and the endogenous. The word says such as exo means external part, endo which lies inside the body. Next is of what a fragmentation. The word fragmentation, again it's a process. Fragmentation, fragments, that means a single part of a body, it will be divided into the small fragments that we will see in example. For example, when we talk about the Spirogera and the Planaria. So when we talk about the next example of the fragmentation, that is of what a Spirogera, right? So Spirogera, the body structure of the Spirogera, when individual, it will be divided into the small fragments, right, by any mean accidentally, or they will start dividing into the different parts of their body. Individual, this fragments, for example, this whole body is divided into the three fragments, for example A, B and C. So individual A will be divided into its own part, B will be divided its own part, and like C. So this type of the asexual reproduction is known as what? Fragmentation. So I repeat again, fragmentation, that means the body will be the divide, the main body, the main parental body, it will be divided into the small fragments, and individual fragments, it will be divided into the new living organism. So that is example of what Spirogera. Number second, as we talk about the same fragmentation type, that is of what? Planaria. Similarly, in Planaria, what is going to be happen? Same type. For example, if Planaria is there, so for example Planaria is there, so if Planaria is divided into the three parts, or it will be divided into the more fragments. Now individual fragments, if it is divided, right? So it will be individually grow into the new one. So these are the example of what a asexual type, right? That is of what a fragmentation. So we have finished the four main parts. Number one, that is of a fission. Number second, budding. Number third is spore formation, and number four is of what a fragmentation. Next, number 5, that is vegetative propagation. Now here there is no requirement of reproductive organ, no gametes, only the part of the body is involved in the formation of a new whole plant. Right, so we will see almost it is observed in the plants. So there are the again few different parts of a plant which is involved in the vegetative reproduction. So we'll see one by one. Number 1, we'll see some examples of what stem, which is helpful for what formation of a new whole plant. So number 1, stem. Again the examples of stem, if you remember modification chapter number 5 standard 11, we have seen the modification function of stem. Main function of stem is helpful for what? Transportation of food from the root to the leaves, and from the leaves to the root and to the tip of a stem. Other than the main function of a stem, the stem is helpful for the vegetative propagation. It stores the food and it is helpful for what? Vegetative propagation. That means it is helpful for the formation of a new plant. So number 1 type, that is of what? Runner. So in the stem modification, number 1 is of what? Runner. Example, best example is of what? Cynodon, that is of what? Dupe grass. So the part of a stem which will become touched to the ground, that means the node which is present on the stem. Node, again it is helpful collection of a meristematic tissue which is helpful for the growth of a new plant. So whenever the node of this particular stem which is very close to the near to the ground, if it is touched to the ground with the favorable condition, it will be start growing. So once the grass it has been grown in one side, it will be start right to all that particular line, and it will be helpful for the development of a new plant. So such type of reproduction is known as what? A runner, right? Number 2, that is of what? Offset. We have learned in again modification offset. For best example is of what? Piscia. Best example is of what? Ecornia. What is given in our textbook? Ecornia. The common name is of what? Water hyacinth. Now here in this Ecornia water hyacinth, first of all we'll understood how it is helpful for the production of a new plant. Number 1, the stem, first of all, which is lies submerged in the water, it will be become bulge. They will start storing the food, and this the stem having a node, it will be again touched to the outer surface of a water. Under the favorable condition, again it will be start growing. So outer part is known as water leaves, and the inner part is of having a modified stored stem, which is again helpful for water formation of a new form. Right, as it is not seen from the outer surface, so it is known as what? Offset. Right, like that of runner we can see outside of a part of a surface of a ground, but here the offset we cannot see, but we can see the length of the plant, numbers of a plant which will be grow easily. Right, so it is also known as what? Terror of Bengal. Why it is known as terror of Bengal? Because of the attractiveness of this plant, right? इसका जो shape of a leaf है, right? इसके जो पूरा plant का जो structure है, it is very attractive. तो क्या किया था हमने? इधर grow किया था, इंडिया में start grow किया था, लेकिन it is like a one type of weed. इससे कुछ इतना ज़्यादा nutritive point of view ये plant इतना अच्छा नहीं है. Only one type of what? Decorative. लेकिन ये decorative थोड़ा सा भारी पड़ गया. It become what? A terror of Bengal. Why? Because it is having a invasive type of weeds. Weeds means unwanted plant. What they are doing, the rate of a reproduction is very high. इतना ज़्यादा है ये प्लांट को. अगर सपोज एक्वेटिक कोई भी रिवर में अगर निकालना चाहे तो जैसे हम लोग निकालेंगे, जिस स्पीड से हम लोग निकालेंगे उसी स्पीड से वो ग्रो करता है. एंड दे टेक अ मैक्सिमम ऑक्सीजन विच इज़ प्रेजेंट डिजोल्व इन वाटर. तो ऑक्सीजन का जो क्वांटिटी रहता है वो क्या हो जाता है? धीरे धीरे ख़त्म हो जाता है. इट क्रिएट अ डेंजर टू दैट ऑफ व्हाट? एक्वेटिक aquatic animal. Aquatic animal को sufficient amount of oxygen नहीं मिलता, जिसकी वजह से lots of aquatic animal like fish it died due to this unwanted invasive weed. But again this type of a plant we can see it create a one type of vegetative propagation, that is nothing but offset. But again on the other side it become what a terror of Bengal, it become what a water pollution, water bodies. So again it's a one type of water bodies which spoil the water, it kill the aquatic animal. So that is number second type, that is of what offset Eichhornia, or it is also known as water hyacinth. Number third we can see a tuber. So with the help of eye, right, tuber is also known as water eye, or which is present on the potato, right, which grow underground, right, the stem which is helpful for the storage of the food. On the presence of that particular tuber or the eye, which when we touch to the ground with the soil with a favorable condition, it will be start growing with a new plant. So again the tuber example potato, it is helpful for the formation of a new plant. Number 4 example is of what a rhizome. Rhizome is also known as what a root stock, right? So rhizome is also known as root stock, right? So example of it, for example ginger, right, banana, they are having a node, they are having a internode, they are having adventitious root. So as soon as the node it touch to the ground, formation of a new plant will be there, right? So as this particular stem, as this particular vegetable, it consists of node, internode, adventitious root. So that's why it is known as what a root stock. And similarly this part is helpful for what vegetative propagation. So from this here again the new plant can be developed. Next, number 5, that is of what a bulb. If you remember tunicated bulb, the word tunicated, that means a layer, right? So if you remember the stem get condensed, modification of leaf. If you remember storage of food, and again the stem become what condensed, and there will be the formation disc shape. There's a formation of what adventitious root. The food will be start storing. Scaly leaves will be there above the ground. Again after the development, the food gets stored in the form of water layers. So the leaves will be helpful for the storage of the food, plus the stem which is having a node lies inside the ground, under the ground. It will be again during the favorable condition, it will be again grow the new plant. So again the bulb is also helpful for the formation of a new plant. Example we can see here, onion and garlic, which is responsible for formation of new. Next, corm. Example is of what a colocasia. If you remember corm, only the one internode is there which is helpful for the storage of the food. The whole vegetable store the food into the one internode. That means between the two nodes the space is known as internode. So only the one internode where the food is get stored, and as soon as the node during the favorable condition, from there again the new plant will be developed. Next, sucker. Example that is of what a chrysanthemum, right? This chrysanthemum having a one type of what a stem which is lies very close to the ground. It will be get curl whenever it get touched to the soil under the favorable condition. It will be start growing the adventitious root. From the adventitious root it will be grow the new plant. So that is a part of sucker, that is a part of what vegetative propagation. Last, that is of what a stolon. Here again stolon example, that is of what a strawberry. Here the arch shape, right? Here the branch will be become the arch type of shape. When it get touched to the ground under the favorable condition, node will be present, right? Under the favorable condition, here the new plant will be developed. So this is a type of the vegetative propagation in which stem is responsible for the modification of reproduction. It is helpful for the vegetative reproduction, right? So which is helpful for the formation of a new plant. So up till here you just read it from the textbook. If you have any doubt, you just contact me, you just message me personally. So read each and every line I have described here. Note down these all notes which is very helpful to you. Some of the points which are not given in the textbook, but it may help in your exams. So just note it.